Jagrudev. Sometimes it's good to talk about where we are as humans, our personal issues, problems, and how to do a little bit better. That's what most of what is considered positive healing, society, psychology, most spirituality is about. We know you're not doing well. How can we help? How can you do better? How can you feel better? How can you not be depressed? How can you get what you want so that you feel better and feel positive in life? Yoga, real yoga, is a little different. It doesn't start from talking about where you are. It creates a sense of complete awe of where you're capable of being. Then we can bridge the gap from up to down instead of down trying to go up a little bit. So let's talk about that. What do you define as success in life? Most people define a nice family, a good job, sufficient finances to go on vacations, to travel, take care of the kids. Just basically, here's life, and it can be a problem. Wouldn't it be nice if it wasn't? Wouldn't it be nice if we could have situations in life that feed us, that make us feel better, that make us feel successful at times? It's not going to be all the time. You're taught that. You're taught that in order to be happy, you have to feel sadness. In order to go through things in life, sometimes you feel better than other times. Yoga doesn't say that. Spirituality, true spirituality, does not say that. Spirituality says the following. How do we define success like this? You wake up in the morning, and there's so much juice flowing through you. Your eyes are wide open, and there's just all this energy pouring up inside of you, even before you wake up. As you go from the subconscious up, you're aware. You can feel yourself be lifted up. And then there's just all this joy. The Beatles sang that. I awake to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me. I like that. Okay? That's your morning. That's what goes on. When? Every morning. Listen to me. I know you won't believe me. Every morning. That's how you wake up. And then it's so enthusiastic to get up. Why? So you can brush your teeth. So you can feel the water falling over you when you take a shower. So that you can eat breakfast. Wow. And you just can't wait to do it. You have the enthusiasm of a child every single minute. Every single minute, every single second, all day. You go to work, you can't wait to do the job. Somebody gives you a job you haven't done before. It's exciting because it's new and I can't wait. Somebody gives you a job that you've done 6,000, you're on an assembly line. You can't wait to do it better. You're just enthused, excited, turned on all day. And then you come home, and if you're in a relationship, you're so excited to see them. And no matter what's going on, you're just filled with love, filled with joy, filled with enthusiasm. And if you live alone, you just can't wait to be alone because you've been with people all day. And it's just so much fun to get to do your own thing and everything. And then it's time to go to bed and you just giggle. That's what you do every single night. That was fun. There, that's success. What do you think? We define the level so far down there. What's success? I'm not depressed too often. Nobody dumped on me today. I didn't get angry. I did better. That's how we define success. That's not success. That's coping. That's tolerating. That's what human beings see as the highest you can get. Not even close. You can get what I just said. It is inside of you at all times. It is inside of everybody. It was no more inside of some master or Christ or anything than it is inside of you. That's a part. I'm a nice Jewish yogi, but I like Jesus' teachings because they're yoga. He said, as I sit by the throne of my Father, so you shall sit by my throne. Whoa, that's some high stuff. And these things that I do, you should do these and even greater things. There, I got the quote exactly like he said it. Truth of the matter, that Buddha told you can get there. Buddha didn't say, I am some great God. I'm the great thing. Buddha said, I found out what's keeping you from being in nirvana, which means you're capable of being in nirvana. Christ said you can do these things. Why? Because the kingdom is within you. It's not in your relationship. It's not in your finances. It's not in this. It's not in that. It's within you. And what does the kingdom mean? Pure joy, pure bliss. I like yoga. There's a name for God in yoga. You ready? You know, if I look at her, I sit there and say, I don't know her name. The girl over there with the reddish hair in the blouse that's blue and purple. Okay? I've just described her. So I didn't know her name, but I identified her as a description of her. That's what yoga does with God. There can be a lot of names. Don't worry about them. The name for God in yoga is Satchidananda. That's describing what God looks like. Eternal, conscious ecstasy. That is the nature of God. Eternal, conscious ecstasy. Guess what they give the name for the self? Satchidananda. How can it be the same? Because Christ and my Father and I are one. In other words, every one of you, no matter what you've ever done, no matter what ever happened to you, period, you're capable of attaining a state that is so far beyond what they talk to you about that it's ridiculous. Yoga, first of all, says you're capable of the state I just told you about. You're capable of living in a state of absolute joy, absolute enthusiasm, absolute ecstasy all the time, pouring through you. You can still go to work, you can still get married, you can still have children, but boy, is it fun. The state that I like to describe, and the new book talks about it, takes time to do it, is to say you're not doing things in order to be okay. You're already okay. You're doing them because they're fun. You're doing them as an act of service. You get married because you're so filled with love before you met the person all the time, whether they stay or go. But isn't it fun to express love? Isn't it fun to share it? And that's how your life is all the time. You are totally capable of achieving that state. In yoga, real yoga, I'm talking about high stuff, right? In yoga, when you're done, when you're in the state I talked to you about, Meher Baba said as follows: my consciousness was like a drop of water. It fell into the ocean and merged, never to be found again. My Father and I are one. That is what you're capable of. Merge with the creator of the universe, merge with the infinite. Your consciousness becomes one with everything. Go read Yogananda's chapter on my experience in cosmic consciousness. Now, the first time he merged, and he just describes my body was the universe. Every galaxy was part of me. I was expanding out at the speed of light in all directions. All the masters said that. In other words, when Christ said, my Father and I are one, he wasn't kidding. That which is the universe, the force that is creating and created the entire universe, that consciousness, omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent, that's you. That is your state. Okay. Now, I know you don't believe me, but I thought we'd start there instead of starting with what you know you are. Okay? So how do you bridge that gap? What is that all about? Not just techniques. Techniques that you don't know why you're using them, I don't like them. He just doing them. He told me to do a mantra. He told me to meditate. You don't understand. Why are you doing this? What's it about? Once you have proper understanding, then right action means something. If it's true, and it is, that me in here is eternal conscious ecstasy, and that God, the creator of the universe, is in a state of absolute ecstasy. That's why I created everything. Why a dancer dances, why a musician plays the way they do. You can't explain when they're just jamming. They're just playing. They're doing it. Someone once asked Meher Baba, this is a fully enlightened master, why did God create the heavens and earth? He said, on a whim. In other words, I'm going to express myself. Just like a dancer would just move. Why did you move that way? I don't know. It just moved that way. It's the whole universe is the expression of ecstasy, of the divine ecstasy, creating and expressing and experience itself. That's a nice God, isn't it? He's not punishing you. He's not mad at you. You better watch out. You better not shout. That's not what yoga teaches. There's a force of divine ecstasy, of Satchidananda, eternal conscious bliss, and it expressed itself. And then what did it do? When it expressed itself and created every single atom in all of creation and all the galaxies or that, what did it do? Well, I want to play. Create a video game and don't ever use it. Build a beautiful house and don't ever live in it. Paint a gorgeous painting that you express your soul, or a piece of music, but don't ever listen to it. No. You express yourself, you want to experience the expression, don't you? Guess what you are? God experiencing the expression of itself. That consciousness which you are is the same consciousness that is creating and has created the entire universe. That's what's going on. That's the divine being descended down into its own. The divine force descends down in order to experience creation. And that's what you are. I don't feel like that. Of course you don't feel like that. Why, you got lost. What do you think the fall from the garden is trying to talk to you about? Isn't that amazing? That the Bible literally is saying the same thing yoga says. That originally it was pure ecstasy. It was pure bliss. It was pure total well-being. That's all there was. And then there was this thing called the fall from the garden, in which you have to sweat by your own brow to be okay. Okay. Now we're going to talk about it? Let's bridge that gap between the divine, ecstatic Satchidananda expressing itself. You must admit the universe is pretty neat. All right? I don't even know. I try not to use the word God, really, because everybody has all their notions and ideas of what that is, and they're all different, because it's just your mind thinking about it. If you want to feel close to God, dare to let your mind attempt to think about what I talk to you about all the time. You are sitting on a planet spinning around the middle of dark outer space. The sun is 93 million miles away. That's very far away. Your Earth, this planet you are sitting on, 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. That's how small the Earth is. 1.3 million of you guys fit inside the sun. And you're sitting here worrying about what's happening on your daily life on this amazing planet. You start there to comprehend God. If your planet, 1.3 million fit inside the sun, okay, well, the sun must be very big. There's 300 billion suns in your galaxy. That's a very big number, 300 billion. And there's 2 trillion galaxies. That's God. I dare you to let your mind do that and just keep going out. And the first thing it does is say, oh my God, if I'm making a mess out of my life, sitting on this little planet, spinning around the middle of nowheres, and all I'm worrying about is the zit on my face, or, oh my God, my car won't start. Don't bring God down there. Don't sit there and say, oh God, please let my car start. Please don't, I don't want anybody to see the run on my stocking or the zit on my face. Please don't do that. That's bringing the force that is 2 trillion galaxies, spread it out across all eternity, down to your stuff. Wow, no wonder you're having trouble. So to talk about God, God is that. That'll free you. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. There's the truth. That's scientific truth, isn't it? Okay? So science is unveiling that which your mind will get closer to God if you dare to open up to it. So basically, how do we bridge this gap? Why would it be that if the divine force created all of creation and then came down to experience it, why don't I experience that ecstasy and that joy and that total well-being all the time if that's what I am? Okay, now you get down to the teachings. Your consciousness, your awareness of being is the most important part of your being. Not how beautiful your face is or how your body's sculpted or how smart you are. No. If you have no consciousness, your smarts don't do a thing. If no one's aware, then you're not there. If you're not aware, it doesn't matter how nice your house is. You're not aware of it. Doesn't matter how pretty or handsome your body is. You're not aware of it. Doesn't matter how smart your mind is. You're not aware of it. Awareness is the essence of your being. It is the most important asset you have is awareness. If you take everything else away, you'll know that it's gone. If you take the awareness away, you don't know squat. You're not there. That's why yoga teaches, and it's true, awareness is the soul. Awareness is the essence of your being. You are aware of your thoughts. You're aware of your emotions. You're aware of your body. You're aware of the outside objects, aren't you? Is it the same awareness aware of all those? Or is it a different you that sees your mind, a different you that feels your heart, a different you who looks out through your eyes? Is it a different you who looks out through your eyes, a different you who hears through your ears? No. There's only one of you in there. There's just one of you in there. You see your thoughts. At the same time, here, I'm going to look at her. My thought says, I have never met her before. Okay, I see her. I see my thoughts. How about you? Can you do them both at the same time? It's not even an effort. Your consciousness is one. It's the same consciousness. There's only one consciousness. When you say, I can't make a decision, come on, let's get this down once and for all, then we're going to go on. I have trouble making decisions. What does that mean? Well, my mind says I think you should do it this way. I say, okay, we'll do it this way. Then another part of my mind says, no, that's stupid. No, you'll never be happy to do it this way. Oh, okay. Then I said, no, what's the matter with you? You much better do it. Yes, and we got that going on in there? How do you know? How do you know that's going on in there? Because you're conscious, correct? Is it the same consciousness hearing both sides of the arguments? There's one of you in there. That's the one. That's the Holy One. We talk about oneness. Start right there. You're already one. There's only one of you in there. You who hears your thoughts, do you feel your heart? Do you know I told you, I am not a therapist. Do not ever come to me thinking that I am going to do therapy with you, because it's not going to happen. If you came to a therapy and said, oh my God, I'm so depressed, I'm going to ask you, how do you know? And you're going to look at me like, who are you? Where'd you get your degree? You're supposed to be asking me what happened and what did my mother do and what happened to my boyfriend. No. How do you know you're depressed? How do you know your heart hurts? I want to know. How do you know these things? And eventually you'll yell at me because I am in here and I notice it. You who notices depression are not depressed. Was it the same you who noticed before your boyfriend left and you were so happy and filled with love, and now you're all broken down, your heart's breaking? Is it the same you who noticed the heart was happy and now notices the heart's crying and bleeding? Of course it is. There's only one of you in there. There's only one of you in there. Wow. That's the most important thing you will ever learn. That's who you are. The consciousness, the awareness of being. You're not the thoughts. How do I know? They keep changing. They can go from happy to sad in a millionth of a second. They're probably doing both at the same time. I don't know if I'm happy or not. I think I am. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm lying to myself. I don't know what should I do. That's not you. Those are thoughts. You are aware of the thoughts. Your heart can go from sad to happy in a billionth of a second. Somebody says something to you. Bam, you're down. Bam, you're up. It's just filled with joy, filled with pain. How do you know that happens? I just asked you, does it happen? You say, yeah. How do you know? Because I'm in here. I am the consciousness. I'm not the heart. I'm not my heart. Why? Because I'm the one who notices my heart. It keeps changing, doesn't it? Who's this in there? And so eventually realize awareness, conscious. I don't know which word works better for you. Maybe awareness is better than consciousness. It's the same thing. That's how you be aware, because you're conscious. But awareness, you know you're aware. You know when you look out your eyes, you're aware of what you see. Your heart, you're aware that your heart has feelings. You're aware that they go up and down. You're aware that you get into... Do you have moods? Are any of you moody? How do you know? How do you know? I'm in a bad mood today. How do you know? I'm in a great mood today. How do you know? I was really happy at work until they gave me an assignment. I told them I don't like doing that assignment. Now I don't want to go back to work. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know these things are happening? Because I'm an aware being. Okay, that is the part of you. When the Bible says man is created in the image of God, that is what it's talking about. The divine consciousness, Sat Chit Ananda, eternal conscious ecstasy. Just think of a force that's conscious and infinite and always there. That's just pure consciousness. You're pure consciousness, but the problem is, what are you conscious of? Me. So I'm conscious of. There's somebody else in the waiting room before you go for therapy. You don't slice it what they're going through, but you know what you're going through. You are conscious of what you are aware of. I'm going to tell you, this is the fall from the garden. It starts with you are the divine consciousness. You're enlightened. You're infinite, eternal, filled with ecstasy and joy. All you can do is experience the awesomeness of creation. Nothing can bother you. Nothing can bring you down. That's it. You've heard of universal consciousness. There, it's one. It's everything. That consciousness stares down at your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and out through your very limited senses. Your senses are rather limited, aren't they? You only see a certain perspective of distance with your eyes, with your ears, and touch is really got to be real close for touch to work, doesn't it? Okay, they're very limited. You are conscious of them. The problem and the fall from the garden happened when you identified with what you're conscious of. Instead of identifying with yourself as consciousness, I am the awareness who's aware of this lady's thoughts or this guy's thoughts. Look at them. Aren't they cute? I'm aware of them. They're like a movie passing before me. Here they come. I like this. I don't like this. Oh my God, why did he do that? It's really funny. It's like a video show or something. You just laugh. It's a video game, right? And then there's all these emotions coming up. Ooh, it's so much fun. But you have nothing to do with them. They're just something you're seeing. They're like a motion picture. It's just coming and going. They come and go, don't they? They never stay. They just come and go, and they come and go. And that's what it means to be in the garden. You can be in both at the same time. Just because you're merged and you're with the infinite doesn't mean you can't have a baby and can't have a life. And no, your consciousness is able to experience everything exactly the same. The finite and the infinite, the yin and the yang. All of it is part of consciousness. All of it you're aware of. Well, what's the fall from the garden then? When you identify with the object of consciousness. I'm not now noticing that there are thoughts. I'm identifying the thoughts as me. I am projecting my sense of self onto what is not myself. I'm aware of my car, but I'm not my car. But if somebody really got attached and they're a race car driver and don't touch the thing, they're getting close. They're projecting their sense of self onto an object that is not themselves. That's the fall from the garden. You did not fall from the garden. You just looked too hard. You stared too much at your thoughts to where you now don't think of yourself or experience yourself as consciousness. You experience yourself as the thought. You identified with the thought. You projected what does psychiatry call your self-concept. If it's a concept, it's not real. A concept is not real. A concept is a thought pattern. This is how I think of myself. Well, then it's not who you are, because it's how you think of yourself. I think I'm this and I'm that, and I like this and I don't like that, and I'm in love with this person. That's who I am. No, it is not. That's how you think of yourself. Well, thoughts are not you. You're the one that's aware of your thoughts. Who's aware of your self-concept? Do you have a self-concept? Here, you identify yourself as young. Well, what's going to happen in 30 years? Or 40 years or 50 years? A lot of people can't handle it. People sometimes give lectures. I don't go out for lectures, but they do. And there's brochures that come out. And they show pictures of the lecture is going to be, right? Lecture series is going to have this person, that person. And all of a sudden there's this person on there. She looks, I don't know, about 40 years old, 35 years old. I know she's 80. That's I identified myself most when I was that age. I looked like that, and I really would like to do it again. That's false identification. This is what your body looks like. Who cares? Who cares? Getting old is a natural process. How dare you let your consciousness say, no, that's not me. You're right, it's not you. It never was. It's a body that you look at. It's something you're identifying with. This whole sense, this concept of false identification is the fall from the garden. So when consciousness, pure consciousness, I know it's hard, just imagine infinite consciousness. It made all 2 trillion galaxies. It's making all 2 trillion galaxies. It's just a force that's coming up and creating every atom and every single part of creation. That's God. Ooh, I like that God. So that whole infinite expanse is the consciousness that is looking down at your thoughts. The trouble is, it's identifying. It's got so focused on your thoughts, your feelings, your body, your car, your house, your child, your husband, your wife. Me, with a Beatles song. I, me, mine. That's all it does in there, isn't it? I, me, mine. I, me, mine. I, me, mine. And so basically the consciousness, which is eternal and infinite, and it is God. It is true that man was created in the image of God. But don't give God 2 arms and 2 legs and a beard. That's God was created in the image of man. So once you understand that consciousness is the greatest force in the universe, that which knows that it knows that it knows. I don't care what they tell you. They will never create a robot that's conscious. They will never create a robot that's conscious. They can give it tests that make it so you can't tell the difference whether a conscious being is answering or they're answering. But that robot ain't conscious. It's only what I'm a programmer. It's only what they programmed it. I don't care if they use AI. They program the AI. The consciousness is something very, very great and very, very rare. And you're it. It's the highest thing there is in the universe, consciousness. So you are looking down at your thoughts and you're identifying with them. The minute you identify with your thoughts, you fell from the garden. Now you must work by the sweat of your own brow. I'm a woman who's 32 years old and not married yet. Oh my God, what's going to happen? I'm going outside my childbearing age. There you are. You made a complete mess of your mind with all these thoughts, personal thoughts, and now you buried yourself in them. And now unless you get something going outside that you want, you're not okay, are you? Because you identified with your thought patterns, which are very limited. I've discussed that with you before. I'll do it again in a minute, just because I want you to know it. There's no thoughts you have inside of you that you didn't pick up by experiencing the experiences of your life. Skinner says, man is the sum of learned experiences. No, your mind is the sum of your learned experiences. What else could it be? Here, take 5 classes in college, but don't take the 6th. And I give you a test on the 6th. Don't bother taking it. You don't know anything. Here's an experience you're having. Here, this is a nice experience. You're having an experience right now. How many are you missing? How many experiences that are going on right now are you missing? 700 billion, zillion, quillion. Right outside there's an experience. Up in the sky there's an experience. All over the United States there's an experience. All over the world there's an experience. All over the universe there's an experience. You're not experiencing any of those, are you? If you were experiencing those other, your mind would be different. You'd have different data. I dare you to let yourself understand this. The only data you have is the moment you picked up, moment by moment. How many moments are you missing? It's not even close, is it? And don't tell me that if you were experiencing those experiences, any one of them, other than one you had, that you wouldn't be different. You're totally different. I give you different parents. I give you a different first boyfriend, first girlfriend. Anything, everything. You're only having that one experience, and then it's programming you for the rest of your life. And there are 700 billion, zillion, quillion experiences you're not having. Are you aware now why I can say this? Because the experiences you have had round to zero compared to how many there are to have. Well, I read a lot of books. How many? I've read 120 books. How many are there? How many didn't you read? I want to know. How many didn't you read? And that's just books. I'm talking about everything you ever saw, everything you ever heard. It's just stuff you picked up and you didn't pick up all the rest. That's how a great being thinks. They understand the limitation of their mind. Doesn't mean you're not going to use it. We'll talk about that. But at least this fall from the garden thing is because you're just completely married to your thoughts. You're married to your mind. You believe that they know something. And then you stare at them. And you're so engulfed and addicted, really, to your thought patterns and your emotion patterns and to your body that if somebody says, just stop looking at your thoughts, stop looking at your emotions, stop looking at your body, you wouldn't even know how to begin. That's called meditation. You wouldn't even know how to begin. Well, why? Aren't you noticing your thoughts? I don't know you. Aren't you noticing your thoughts? Don't. Here, look at that picture. See the picture? No, don't look at the picture. Don't look at it. Was that hard? Then why do you have to look at your thoughts? They are just something you are aware of. There is no difference between any thought you're having and any other thought. They're just thoughts. The clouds in the sky passing by, they have nothing to do with you. You just happen to have experiences in your life that programmed your mind to think like that. If you had different experiences, you'd have your whole politics, your activism, every single thing would be different if you had different experiences. How do I know that? Tell me your self-concept. Tell me what you believe in. Tell me what you like to eat. Tell me if you're a vegan. Tell me everything, all right? Now fall in love with somebody who's not the same as you. And come back in 3 days later and tell me if you changed. It's not you. They're just thought patterns. They're just emotion patterns. They can change in a minute, can't they? You love somebody, you get married, and you get divorced. It can change, and you just identify with it along the way. The truth of the matter is, you are the consciousness that is aware of your thoughts. I don't care if your thoughts change. It doesn't impress me any way, shape, or form. You have to deal with the deeper parts of things, which is the consciousness itself. When you come back, I started talking about the high state. When you come back to where you're identified with who you are, what does that mean? I'm not leaving. My thoughts don't pull me down into them. Whoa. Do you have thoughts? Sure, we can have thoughts. What if I want to think about 2 plus 2 or derivatives or integral calculus? By all means, that's why you have a mind. There's nothing wrong with it. But I don't have to listen to the thing. They were sitting there talking about, why did he do that to me? I can't even believe he did that to me. I thought he loved me. That was 23 years ago. Why in the world are you having those thoughts? And are you capable of not having the thoughts? No. They keep bothering me. Does your mind ever bother you? It's not supposed to bother you. It's just supposed to be there for you to use. It's supposed to be healthy. It's supposed to be a very good calculator, a computer. It's a wonderful thing to have. But it's not supposed to be puking all over you all the time. That's not what the mind's supposed to do. But it does do that, doesn't it? It does not. You're doing that. You are the consciousness that is watching the mind and involved in it and committed to it and addicted to it. So if your mind says, God, Sally's husband left her. If Sam ever left me, I would just die. What should I do? I'm going to hire a private detective to make sure that he's going to work when he says he's going to work. Go on, have fun. See how your relationship turns out. That's your mind. That's a neurotic mind. Ultimately, how do you solve it? Stop paying attention to it. But don't have to fix it. If you stop paying attention to it, it will stop. You're doing it. You're getting in there. I used to talk this way, right? People think they're drowning. They're drowning. They go to a psychologist, psychiatrist. I'm drowning. I can't handle it. I'm drowning. All right? Here's how you're drowning. There's 8 inches of water. You've laid down into it face first. You're thrashing around. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. So that the water is spitting up into your nose and your mouth, and I'm drowning. That's how you're drowning. Just stop thrashing. Stand up. You're not drowning. That's what's happening. You go inside that mind, and it starts talking, and you get in there and start thrashing, don't you? What should I do? Oh, my God, maybe I'll take care of this. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. It's doing that. Why, you're in there thrashing around. You're thrashing all over the place. And so basically now the mind's doing that, and you say you're drowning. So how do I fix it? Here's how you fix it. Go to the drowning, thrashing mind and ask it, what should I do? Don't you? What should I do? Get married. Get divorced. Have another child. When you had your first child, it worked out much better. All right, have another one, or 2, or 3, or 4. Say it'll work eventually, all right? Your mind will say things like that. Why? Because the only thing your mind knows is what it already experienced. All right? I mean, there are people, I'm not doing well with my relationship. I can't find anybody. Look, you remember Sally? That was 6th grade. That was 6th grade, just 62 years old. I'll find her. The internet, I can find her. Why did the mind do that? Why did you do that? Because the mind is not okay, and you went to the mind that's not okay and said, when were you okay? And it said, oh, I'll be okay again if I meet Sally. I hope we're being really quiet when we talk about this stuff. That's why you're separated from God. Why? Because you're not separated from yourself. Because your consciousness is completely addicted to this crazy broken mind, the personal mind. The intellectual mind is fine. The abstract mind is fine. You thought about those galaxies that I told you to. A possum can't do that. You're capable of doing that. Your mind is a great thing, but not the personal mind. The mind that's drowning and all lost because it's trying to hold everything together and it can't figure anything out and it's scared and it's desirous. And next thing you know, it's making a complete mess, isn't it? So you basically wake up. I've told you what God is. I told you you are one with God. That's who you are. But you're staring at this that's broken. You're staring at a mind that got all disturbed and now it's not okay. God can't get depressed. Satchidananda is eternal, not every once in a while, eternal conscious ecstasy. That doesn't sound like depression to me. How about you? It doesn't sound like heartache. It doesn't sound like anything. It just sounds like what it is, eternal conscious ecstasy. That's going on inside of you right now. Right now. Why don't I know it? Because you're looking away from it. You're it, but you're looking down at this thing that happened inside your mind and inside your personal heart. And then basically they're telling you what to do, and then you go out into the world. There, fall from the garden. I am the divine being experiencing ecstasy and enjoying the dance of creation at all times. Then all of a sudden, the apple is the personal self. I bit of the apple, which said I, me, mine. That's what matters. What can I get? What do I like? What do I want? Who do I want? I, me, mine. This is my house. Get off my lawn. Okay? It's this limited itself down to this tiny little thing which you call you. That's not you. This is you. the consciousness that's aware of all this stuff. So it fell from the divine consciousness. It stared too much at the mind. The mind affected the heart. It blocked the heart all up. And then it looked outside and it said, oh, she looks happy. I want to be like her. Oh, look at that. They have money. They travel to Europe. I want to go to Europe. Oh my God, look what happened to him. Her husband left. I don't want my husband to leave. I, me, mine, I, me, mine. Anybody know anything about that? That's the fall from the garden. So now you have to sweat by your own brow to try and get the outside world to be a way that doesn't bother you. And maybe it could even be a way that makes you feel good. And that's your whole life. And that's what they teach you. That's what this world teaches you because they don't know any better. They taught you, get a good job and do this. And this is how you get along in your relationships. And this is what you do things. How you stay healthy. And this is what you do. You hear me? In other words, it's outside. The answer is outside. Go out there and get it, manipulate it. You know, how to win friends and influence people. And so you wake up and you realize, I told you I'm going to do different tonight. We're going to start from the top. Should you return to the seat of self? And we'll talk about how and what, because it didn't take long. What matters is that you understand what's going on. Your consciousness is addicted to you, isn't it? It's addicted to what you want and what you don't want and what you like. It's on this tiny little thing on this giant planet that fits 1.3 million fit inside the sun. And this is what you're doing with your time here? What do I want and how do I get it? And how do I get people to like me? And how do I get people to clap because I did well? And I give the thing. And how do I avoid what I don't want? How do I make sure it doesn't happen because I'm scared? Wow. Please don't live like that. You're the greatest thing ever walked the face of the earth. You're the most beautiful being in the whole world. You're what I said to start with. You wake up in the morning and giggle. You just wake up in the morning and say, this is fun. What's going to happen today? Who cares? I'm sitting on a little planet, spinning around the middle of nowhere. 1.3 million of that planet fit inside the sun, and that's one star out of 300 billion. Hello. How you doing? Fine. I told you the other day. Here's the question. What'd you do today? You know what the right answer is? A 360. I rotated on my axis. What'd you do this year? A big 360. I orbited the sun. Hooray, I made it. Did you have to run real hard, pedal a lot? This is what's going on. You've just limited your consciousness to such a tiny little thing called you, and that's all you care about. And if you get what you want, you feel relatively happy, but you know you got to work for it to keep it. And if you get what you don't want, you suffer. You have a problem. So that's the state of affairs. Now we're going to go back up to who you are. So what's the answer? Let go. Stop staring at your mind. You can still use it. Everything can still happen. But you don't have to be a neurotic mess about it. You just sit there and say, I'm fine. I'm joyful. I'm filled with joy all the time. What if something terrible happens? I'll deal with it. It's a challenge. Some of you guys play video games. I never did. To me, the only video game I ever looked at was Pac-Man. And that was way long ago, right? And I never really played it either. But you got pretty sophisticated video games, don't you? Like, what's it called? It's a car robbery thing. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto, or a lot of these really crazy things. And people play them, and they enjoy them. Well, things go wrong in those video games. Tell you right, bam. All kinds of stuff goes on. And they play them, don't they? Why? It's fun. Well, why is life not fun? Why is life not a video game? Your consciousness has come down here, and there's all this stuff going on. It's exciting. It's challenging. It's amazing, isn't it? That this would be happening on the tiny little planet in the middle of dark, empty space. Come on, guys. Get your mind out of the personal self. And so basically, if you were to be able to do that, so there's a yogi giving you therapy. I'm having trouble with my mind. Well, stop watching it. My heart hurts. In the book, you used a very good example about trouble with your heart. Do you like when your heart breaks? You like when your heart hurts and it just feels tragedy and sad? You better say yes. Why? Do you like Romeo and Juliet as a play? You ever seen Romeo and Juliet or read the story? Boy, that's a heartbreaker, isn't it? How come you keep going back for more? How come it's one of the most important, influential plays ever written? Because it makes your heart feel so real. It's what a tragedy. It's amazing. If that happened to you in real life, you're scarred for life. Then how come you enjoy the experience of letting your heart feel like that if it's a play? That's what yoga says to you. You're sitting on a planet spinning out of the middle of nowheres. Enjoy the experiences you're going through. That can be an experience. Yes, it's difficult, but you can have fun. It's a good chess match. It's a good play. Every single experience you have is better than nothing, It's better than being out there in outer space in the blank, empty nothing. And that's what's happening today. Nothing. What happened yesterday? Nothing. Nothing. What'd you see? Nothing. What'd you feel? Nothing. You want to pick that one? I'll give you a choice, A or B. And you just get to the point and say, I can have fun with this. I can handle this. It doesn't have to be the way I want. How did I get that idea of I want? And unless it's the way I want, I'm not okay. And if it's the way I don't want, I'm not okay. Well, then you're not okay. What you do is you wake up and you realize I am consciousness experiencing this amazing journey of my life. It's your life. No one else ever had your life. No one ever had the experience you had. Even if the experience is happening with somebody right next to you, they're not seeing it the same as you. They're not interpreting the same as you. You have a complete, unique experience of your entire life. And it will never happen again, and it never happened before. Isn't that amazing? This is your life. The universe is that big, and you get a private showing. Stop being a baby. Stop saying I can't handle this. Stop saying I'm only okay if such and such happen. That's how you get back up here. But what does it take to do that? Obviously, it takes learning not to be sucked into the melodrama of your mind, not to be sucked into the personal problems of your heart, not to be sucked into the fact that your body is getting older and that things happen in life. Okay, fine, I'm here. How do you do that? It's really amazing. Yogananda, great master, his master was Sri Krishna. That was Yogananda's guru. He had something very simple. He said the following: an ignored guest quickly leaves. What does that mean? If you don't listen to your mind, if you don't get all involved in the melodrama it's throwing at you, it stops. It is because you're in there thrashing around in it that it keeps talking. Otherwise, there's peace in there. There's quiet in there. Same thing with your heart. There's nothing wrong with your heart. Your heart is filled with love, with joy, with inspiration. You ever seen your heart be really open and really clear? That's how it is all the time, except for the fact that you're screwing it up. You're getting in there and saying, well, why is he holding hands with her? And why did that happen? And what am I going to do if I get older and I don't feel well? You can make a complete mess of your life if you want to. Or you can solve the entire thing by saying the following: I'm in here. Check. You're always in there, aren't you? I'm the only one in here. No one else is in there, are they? Okay, I'm in here. I'm the only one in here. And it can be as nice as I want it to be in here. This is my domain. This is my house. There's no one else in here that can screw it up except me. And you've been doing a good job, haven't you? And they don't teach you. What they teach you is, if you're screwed up, here's what you get. Here's the pill you have to take. Here's the person you have to meet. Here's what's going on. You have to move to another city where maybe people are more like you are. They just keep telling you the solution's outside. The solution's outside. The problem isn't outside, so why is the solution outside? The problem's inside, isn't it? I'm a mess. Okay? I'm a mess. I'm scared. I'm desirous. And I don't think anybody likes me. Okay? Well, then you need to fix that. If the inside's the problem, the outside is not the solution. There's nothing wrong with the outside. I told you, you're supposed to play. It's supposed to be fun. It's God's expression, and you're the ambassador. For the moment you're experiencing, you're God's ambassador to experience that moment that got created. It's a nice way to look at it, isn't it? Your consciousness is experiencing the private moment. But if you're making a mess out of it, it's no fun. And so you finally wake up. You wake up, and you say, is there anything I can do to stop doing this? And the answer is yes. That's why there are deep teachings. That's why you're taught what you're taught. You're taught how to work with your mind instead of give in to it. Instead of saying, my mind knows the solution to what's wrong with me. Well, of course it does. It made it wrong with you. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your mind sits there and says, oh my God, what if nobody likes me? What if I don't get married soon enough in order to have the family that I want to have? Okay, so now your mind screwed it up. So now your mind's going to say, if you find somebody who is about the right age and has the same kind of thoughts that you do, and kind of good looking too, that would help, all right, and is very popular, so other people are jealous that I got this guy or gal. Go on, make the list. Who's making the list? Your mind. The same mind that made you not be happy is telling you how to be happy. So you eventually wake up and you say, I'm going to stop doing this. If you reach that state where you say, this is ridiculous. Why am I doing this? You'll find your way out. You're a very intelligent person. You figured out all kinds of stuff. Just realize you don't have to live like that. You're a very great being, but you're screwing yourself up. The new book goes into great detail. The untethered soul brought the problem. Living untethered gives a solution of what you can do, what are the procedures and techniques that you can do on a regular basis to free yourself. That's what living untethered means. Untethering yourself from this mess that you made inside yourself and returning to that state of ecstasy, that state of total well-being. And I'm glad I did in the beginning, because I have to stop. Don't you doubt that state is capable. A human being, you are capable of being absolute in joy, ecstasy at all times, filled with enthusiasm. But what if I don't like my job? Why would you not like your job? That's something you decide. I don't like my job. It's just amazing. You're doing this to yourself. You can be enthusiastic about anything. And I ran a big company. If somebody's in that company that is enthused and positive and excited and doing the best they can and delivering mail, they will not be delivering mail very long. Don't worry about how you're going to get a raise. You just sit there and be like that. You be the CEO soon. Because you're putting out such positive energy and everybody comes along with you and you're a leader. How do you become a leader? By being a leader. And so basically, once you reach the point that you understand the consciousness in there is a great being. The mind doesn't understand that. The mind is below you. The mind is something you're watching. It's like a light that shines on something. It illumines the thing it shines on, but the light has nothing to do with what it's shining on, does it? Your consciousness has nothing to do with these thoughts and stuff that you're aware of. You are the divine being inside. And when you come back to that state, how? By learning to tolerate that your mind's got problems. You just let it go, relax, help it out, hold its hand, give it a kiss, do a mantra, meditate, do whatever you want, do whatever works. The technique I give you is the one I just gave you. Did you know you're a great being in there and you're screwing enough for yourself? How about you learn to stop? Okay? How do you do that? The mind says, oh my God, I can't believe he said that to me. Say, it's fine. He was in a bad mood. Don't worry about it. There, it's over. Instead of it being a scar that stays in there for the rest of your life. There, you just did it. Just do it. Do it. Raise yourself. Raise yourself. So basically, I started from the top end, which is very beautiful. I never do that. You are a very great being. You're a very great being. Now I told you what happened. You fell from the greatness into the personal mind that's always complaining and always has problems and thinks it needs things in order to be okay, doesn't it? And then the heart responded by being all screwed up, and now here you are, this human. You're not a human. You're God descended. You're a very great thing. Work your way back. Learn to return to the seat of consciousness, which is filled with joy and ecstasy. All right. Work on these things. Jagratif.